Bridget Lloyd remembers her son Dale as a strong Christian athlete with a brilliant future. But without warning, his life was taken away by a hidden killer.
When you lose a child, you lose a part of yourself. You lose a part of your heart. Your spirit is gone. And I think you have to realize that there's only one way to make it out. There's only one way, the grace of God, to give you strength each and every day to get up, to see another day, to try to not let this happen to another young person's life.
Dale, a Rice University football player, collapsed during a strenuous practice. The cause of death, complications from sickle cell trait. Unlike people with sickle cell anemia who have two abnormal hemoglobin genes that produce mostly dangerous sickle-shaped blood cells, people with the trait have only one abnormal hemoglobin gene, and their blood cells are mostly a healthy round shape. But when people with the trait intensely exercise, their round blood cells can take on that sickle shape, become sticky, and clog blood vessels. The fix is resting, which returns the cells to their round shape. Complications from sickle cell trait is the #1 cause of death for college football players. It's been linked to 10 on-field deaths in the last decade. But they didn't happen during games. Instead, they occurred during rigorous training. Like most players carrying the trait, Dale didn't know he had it. His family sued Rice University and the NCAA. As a result, the NCAA will require all Division I schools to test athletes for the trait. Currently, only 64% of colleges screen for it voluntarily.
I think it's so important that we understand that this is about saving these young people's lives.
Beginning August 1st, all athletes will either take a blood test, provide proof that they already had the test, or opt out of the test by signing a waiver releasing their school from liability. In the competitive world of sports, many wonder if having the sickle cell trait hurts an athlete's chance for success. Curtis Lofton has it, and it hasn't slowed him down. As starting middle linebacker for the Atlanta Falcons, he had 160 tackles last year. At age 23, he's on his way to becoming one of the best players in the league. He says listening to his body is a matter of life or death.
My back starts cramping up, or I start becoming short of breath, and just things like that. And that's when I kind of got a feeling like, hey, Curtis, you need to chill out, you need to pull back some.
And so you rest for what, a few minutes?
For me, it's probably about 30 seconds. I mean, it's just a little 30 seconds to a minute because I don't have the trait, so I really don't have full-on sickle cell. And that's a big difference between the trait and the sickle cell.
His faith in Christ helps him deal with his condition.
He's the one that wakes me up in the morning, and I pray a lot, and sometimes when I run these sprints, you know, I have to stop and I just say a little prayer that help me keep going or help me finish what I need to do.
Lofton first learned of his condition after being tested when he played for the University of Oklahoma Sooners. His trainer there became a driving force behind nationwide sickle cell trait testing after one of his players nearly died and no one knew why.
The ignorance that we held was held by physicians, athletic trainers, coaches, athletes, really everyone in sports.
Anderson says since 1990, only 2 of his 20 players who tested positive knew they had it. Hospitals in every state screen newborns for sickle cell trait, but many parents don't know the results of those screenings or forget them when their baby grows up. 1 in 12 African Americans carries the trait, but people with Spanish, Greek, Italian, Asiatic Indian, and Mediterranean ancestry are also affected.
We've seen it in males, we've seen it in females, we've seen it in football, we've seen it in other sports.
So while some players never survived sickle cell trait complications, their deaths raised awareness that may prevent others from suffering the same fate. Lori Johnson, CBN News.